The illusion of reality, why everything you know might be a lie. Most people walk through life convinced that what they see, hear, and experience is the full truth. They think their opinions are their own, that their beliefs are the result of independent thinking, that their perception of reality is accurate. But what if it isn't? What if everything you know, everything you trust, everything you assume about the world is just shadows on a cave wall? Plato's allegory of the cave describes prisoners who have lived their entire lives chained inside a cave, facing a wall. Behind them, a fire casts shadows of objects onto the wall, and because they have never seen anything else, they assume these shadows are reality. They do not question them. They do not doubt them. They accept the illusion as truth. This is not just an ancient philosophical metaphor. It is your life. It is my life. It is the world we live in today. Most people are trapped in a modern version of Plato's cave, except instead of shadows on a wall, we have media, social conditioning, and carefully crafted narratives that shape how we think.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
Have you ever wondered why certain ideas spread so easily while others are ignored? Why some perspectives are considered normal and others are dismissed as crazy? Why your opinions often align perfectly with the environment you grew up in? If you were born in a different time, a different place, a different culture, would you still believe the things you believe now? Or has your entire worldview been shaped by forces you never even questioned? The reason most people never escape Plato's cave is because they don't even realize they're inside of it. They assume they are free thinkers, that they have broken out of the system, but in reality they are just in a slightly bigger cave, watching slightly different shadows. And the most dangerous part? The cave rewards obedience. It punishes those who question. It ridicules those who try to see beyond the illusion. In Plato's story, if a prisoner were to break free and see the real world, they would be blinded by the light. The truth would be overwhelming. It would be painful. But if they adjusted, if they learned, if they finally saw reality for what it was, they would never want to go back. But what happens when they return to the cave and try to tell the others? They are mocked. They are called insane. They are rejected because the prisoners do not want to hear that their world is a lie. And this is exactly what happens in real life. When someone breaks free from societal illusions, when they start questioning the narratives, the systems, the beliefs that everyone else blindly follows, they are attacked. They are silenced. Because the cave does not want you to leave. The cave wants you to stay obedient, to accept the shadows, to never realize how deep the manipulation runs. So here's the question: are you still watching shadows? Or have you started to see the fire behind them? The chains you don't see, how society keeps you blind. People think slavery is a thing of the past. They think control is obvious, that oppression is always brutal and physical. But the most effective form of control is the one that doesn't look like control at all. It's the control that convinces you that you are free while keeping you in chains. And these chains are not made of iron. They are made of ideas. From the moment you are born, you are told what to believe. You are told what is true, what is false, what is acceptable, what is forbidden. You are given a name, a nationality, a religion, a moral code. You are given rules to follow, authority figures to obey, systems to trust. And if you never stop to question these things, you spend your entire life inside an invisible prison, mistaking it for freedom. Just like the prisoners in Plato's cave, you are shown a version of reality that benefits those in control. You are told that success means following a specific path, go to school, get a job, obey the rules, consume, vote, retire, die. You are told that deviating from this path is dangerous, that questioning the system makes you a threat. And most people never question it because they have been conditioned to fear the unknown. The cave is comfortable. The shadows are familiar. And stepping outside means facing truths that might be too overwhelming to handle. But here's the brutal reality: if your thoughts, your desires, your beliefs are shaped by forces you never questioned, are they really your own? Or are you just another prisoner in the cave, mistaking illusions for reality? We live in a world where information is controlled, where truth is manufactured, where narratives are carefully constructed to keep people distracted and obedient. The media does not exist to inform you. It exists to program you. Schools do not exist to educate you. They exist to train you to be a compliant worker. Governments do not exist to serve you. They exist to control you while making you believe you are in control. And the most powerful illusion of all, the illusion of choice. You are given options, but all the options keep you inside the same system. You can choose between political parties, but both serve the same interests. You can choose between brands, but all are owned by the same corporations. You can choose what to believe, but the range of acceptable beliefs has already been decided for you. This is why most people never escape the cave. They fight over meaningless differences. They argue within the boundaries set for them. They believe they are thinking freely while staying within the limits of the system. The chains are invisible, but they are real. And the only way to break them is to do something most people are too afraid to do: question everything. Every belief, every rule, every assumption. Where did it come from? Who benefits from you believing it? What happens if you reject it? The moment you start questioning, the cave becomes visible. The shadows lose their power, and you begin to see just how deep the illusion goes. But be warned, escaping the cave comes with a cost. The cost of waking up, why most people stay asleep forever. The moment you start seeing the illusion for what it is, everything changes. The world you once trusted starts looking like a stage. The people you once listened to start sounding like actors reading from a script. And the beliefs you once held as absolute truths start crumbling in front of you. It is a terrifying experience because it forces you to realize that you have been living inside a lie your entire life. And the worst part, you cannot go back. Once you see the cave, the shadows no longer make sense. Once you notice the chains, the illusion of freedom disappears. But escaping the cave is not just about seeing the truth, it is about surviving it. Because the moment you break free, the world does not welcome you with open arms. It fights back. It mocks you. It isolates you. The people still trapped in the cave do not want to hear that their world is an illusion. They do not want to know that their beliefs, their routines, their entire existence has been shaped by forces they never questioned. They will defend their chains. They will attack anyone who threatens the illusion. They will call you crazy, dangerous, lost. And this is why most people stay asleep. It is easier. It is safer. It does not require the painful process of dismantling everything they thought was real. Because waking up is not just about seeing the truth, it is about having the strength to live with it. The strength to be alone, to be misunderstood, to be rejected by the very people you once called friends and family. It is about resisting the temptation to go back to the comfort of ignorance, to fall back into the illusion just because it is familiar. Because the truth is not comforting. It does not give you easy answers. It does not provide the security that the illusion once did. It forces you to take full responsibility for your mind, your life, your existence. It forces you to admit that no one is coming to save you, that the systems in place do not exist to help you, that everything you need, truth, freedom, purpose, must be built from within. And this is why the cave is so powerful. It offers certainty. It offers community. It offers the illusion of safety in exchange for your mind. And most people accept that deal because they do not know how to live without it. But here is the brutal reality: every second you spend inside the cave is a second wasted. Every moment you accept the illusion is a moment stolen from the life you could have had. Waking up is hard. It is painful. It is lonely. But staying asleep is worse. Because no matter how comfortable the cave may seem, it is still a prison. And the only way to truly live is to break free and never look back. So the only question that remains is this: will you keep watching shadows, or will you finally turn around and see the fire? Escaping the cave is only the beginning. Seeing the illusion for what it is does not automatically free you from its influence. Because even after you break the chains, even after you step outside and see the world as it really is, a part of you still longs for the comfort of the familiar. The mind clings to what it knows, even when what it knows is a lie. And this is why so many people who start waking up end up falling back into the illusion. They see the truth, but they do not know how to live with it. They recognize the manipulation, but they do not know how to function without it. So they return not because they believe in the system, but because they do not know who they are without it. This is the real struggle. Not just breaking free from the illusion, but learning how to exist outside of it. Because once you leave the cave, you are on your own. There is no pre-written path, no ready-made identity, no comforting lies to fall back on. You must build everything from scratch. And most people are not ready for that level of responsibility. They want freedom, but they also want certainty. They want truth, but they also want security. They want to wake up, but they do not want to face the consequences of waking up. So they make compromises. They pretend to be free while still holding on to pieces of the illusion. They reject the obvious lies but cling to the subtler ones. They call themselves independent thinkers while still seeking validation from the very system they claim to have escaped. And this is why true freedom is so rare. Because it requires more than just seeing the truth. It requires confronting every part of yourself that still wants to be deceived. It requires breaking not just the external chains, but the internal ones. The ones that keep you dependent on approval, on certainty, on the illusion of meaning that the system once provided. Most people do not have the strength to do this. They escape one illusion only to fall into another. They reject the mainstream narrative only to get trapped in an alternative one. They trade one system of control for another because true independence is terrifying. It means standing alone. It means thinking without a script. It means defining your own purpose, your own values, your own reality. And this is why the few who truly escape the cave are often seen as dangerous. Because they do not just challenge the system, they prove that it is possible to live without it. And nothing threatens the illusion more than someone who has completely stepped outside of it. But here is the truth: once you have truly broken free, you will never envy those who are still inside. You will not miss the comfort of the lie. You will not long for the security of the illusion. Because even though freedom is difficult, even though it demands everything from you, it is the only thing worth having. The only thing that makes life real. And once you have tasted it, you will never trade it for shadows on a wall again. But here's what no one tells you: freedom is not the end of the struggle. It is the beginning of a new one that is far more difficult than anything you faced inside the cave. Because when you were inside, at least you had certainty. Even if it was an illusion, it was a structured illusion. There were rules to follow, expectations to meet, a path to walk. But once you leave, all of that disappears. There is no map, no authority to guide you, no system to tell you what to do. And this is where many people break. They thought escaping the cave would bring them peace, but instead it throws them into chaos. They realize that freedom is not a gift, it is a responsibility. It demands that you think for yourself, that you make your own choices, that you create meaning where there was none before. And most people cannot handle that level of responsibility. They want to be free, but they also want someone to tell them what to do. They want to think for themselves, but they also want their thoughts to be validated. They want meaning, but they do not want to face the reality that meaning is not given, it is created. And so they start looking for a new cave, a different system to belong to, a new ideology to follow, a fresh illusion to replace the one they left behind. Because being lost is terrifying. Being alone in the vastness of reality, with no one to guide you, no structure to hold on to, no comforting lies to ease the burden of existence, it is too much for most people. So they settle. They find a new narrative, a new belief system, a new identity that feels like freedom, but is just another form of control. And they tell themselves they have escaped when in reality, they have only moved to a bigger, more sophisticated cage. But true freedom does not come from finding a new system to replace the old one. It comes from realizing that you do not need a system at all, that you do not need external validation, that you do not need a pre-written purpose, that you do not need the illusion of certainty to live a meaningful life. True freedom is terrifying because it means standing alone. It means accepting that there are no guarantees, no absolute truths, no fixed paths. It means understanding that the world does not owe you meaning, you must create it for yourself. And this is why so few people ever reach real freedom. Because it is not just about breaking chains, it is about learning how to live without them. It is about embracing uncertainty, about finding strength in the unknown, about building a life that is truly your own. This is the final step, the part of the journey that separates those who merely escaped from those who are truly free. And the question is not whether you can leave the cave, the question is whether you are strong enough to never need another one again.